got a chance to see Woman in Cabin 10 with Keira Knightley on Netflix. Let's talk about it right now. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for spending time with me as we rant about movies, comic books, and television shows, as well as the occasional board game. I am your host, Frank Zanko, an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer, as well as a filmmaker. And yeah, we're going to be talking about The Woman in Cabin 10. Not 9, not 8, 10. So this is based on a novel by Ruth Ware. I was not aware of this book prior to seeing this film, but obviously a lot of people have read it, or else they wouldn't have turned it into a movie. But it's the writers and the director here are not extremely proficient. Simon Stone is a director here, and he only has like 5 directing credits, not a whole lot. And I think he also has a writing credit on here as well, along with another writing team. But yeah, so he's mostly an actor turned writer. And truthfully, I've never seen anything that he's acted in, and I've never seen anything that he's directed. Nothing. So the other writers that are credited here is Joe Shrapnel and Anna Waterhouse. Okay, and the only thing that I noticed, they have about a dozen credits, about maybe 10 between them. And the only thing that I am familiar with that I actually have watched that they've written was Snake Eyes from G.I. Joe. And the writing on that was not good. Not good. So, I don't know. So, if I knew all that walking in to this film, I may have discounted it a little bit more. Not knowing what exactly to expect. So, you know, I'm a fan of Keira Knightley. Actually, there's a lot of people in the cast here that I really like. And I would have watched it either way. But Keira Knightley has had such an amazing career. And I didn't realize that she was only 40. She's looking older. I hate to say it, Keira Knightley. You're looking older than 40. Must be that British thing. So most of the actors here are British. This is basically a British production for the most part. So Keira Knightley, she's been acting since she's 8 years old. Isn't that crazy? She was in Star Wars when she was 14, I think, where she played Sabe with Natalie Portman in that scene where she was with the Royal Guards and stuff like that. And just amazing. And of course, you know, she's been up for an Oscar, stuff to that effect. But it's she just had, you know, just an amazing career. Mostly, you know, in like Pride and Prejudice, which they just re-released. She was in Atonement. I think she was up for an award for Atonement. She was in Domino. Pirates of the Caribbean. I think she was 18 when she did the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie. In fact, there's 2 Pirates of the Caribbean alum in this film. Pretty crazy. And I think that also, like I always say, I can never say her name. But Gugu Mbatha-Raw, she's an incredibly beautiful woman. She's underutilized a lot. But I think the reason why they had her in here, or why she accepted the teeny tiny role that was probably a day player role, was because they had worked together before. So that's her and the filmmakers. That's the reason I think that she accepted that teeny tiny role. And of course, you know, she's from Loki. Again, underutilized in Loki. If you had removed her part completely, nobody would even have noticed. If you haven't seen, so she also did the morning show. I forgot that she was in that. But the thing I know her mostly from is Belle. If you have never seen Belle, definitely see that. I think that's like the only time that I've seen her in like a main role, and she was excellent in that. And it's a period piece, so if you haven't seen that, definitely see that. And also David Ajala. He played Manchester Black in Supergirl. His facial features remind me of Tim Curry. If you put him and Tim Curry side by side, you're going to see a major resemblance in their facial features. Crazy. And he's also from Star Trek Discovery. I think he was in like I stopped watching Star Trek Discovery long ago. That show was so bad. And then of course you have Guy Pearce, who I just saw in Killing Faith. But he's again has an amazing career from Iron Man to Memento, Hurt Locker, L.A. Confidential. I mean, he was just in The Brutalist. I didn't see The Brutalist. I heard it was crap, but he's got so many credits. It's crazy. One of my favorite movies of the, like, bottom of the barrel sci-fi movie is Lockout. It's just a fun movie. And there's it's not to be taken seriously in the least, but he played like the swashbuckling hero, which you never really see him do. So here, he plays the husband of the main subject, who is extremely rich, and he's kind of on the coattails kind of thing. But the other alum from Pirates of the Caribbean is Kea Scaladero. And it's good. It's an Io. It's Scadelio. It sounds Italian to me. But, she's, of course, from the last one where she played What's-His-Face's daughter. But, she's also from The Maze Runner and Crawl. I'd like to see more of her as well. I got to watch Raccoon City again. I didn't think it was awful. Oh, that's right. She was in The King's Daughter, too. With Pierce Brosnan. If you haven't seen that, I think that's underrated as well. But she's got 30 credits behind her as well. Guy Pearce has like 100. Keira Knightley has like 60. These guys have been acting for such a long time. And then you have Hannah Waddingham, who is from Sex Education, is what I know her most from. She was just in Mission Impossible. She's got a pile of stuff. She was in The Fall Guy, Ted Lasso. She's just on a pile of stuff. But yeah, so you have a really, really good cast behind all of this. The problem is that it's so generic. We have such a generic plot here. It's absolutely crazy. Anyway, before we go on, remember to give me a like, give me a thumbs up if you can. If you can't subscribe, please do. Ring that bell, ding, ding. Share this video out there so people know it's on Netflix right now. And also remember, too, that I'm a writer myself, so if you'd like to check out anything that I have written, you can go to Amazon.com and just type my name in, or there's a link in the description below. Plus, you can see my 4-novel sci-fi quadrilogy, which is called Destiny Aurora. So if you like Star Wars, Star Trek, Guardians of the Galaxy, it's a space epic adventure. And a little bit of twists and turns. It was made into a board game, an RPG, a graphic novel. It's on Audible, too, so if you like to listen to stuff, it has multiple voices on it as well. And then my fantasy book, Tales of Ravenor, the Iron Witch. So if you like Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, Lord of the Rings, we have magic, we have dragon riders, we have griffin riders, we have all this other stuff. It's pretty cool. We have Viking vampires. There's a pile of stuff in it. And then my new comic, Fairy Tales of Terror. We have Psycho Cinderella and Killer Captain Hook being chased around New York City by Tiger Lily from Neverland, who's a badass, and it's really cool. And again, we were fully funded. We were overfunded. And I'm pushing my artist to have the last 10 pages done, because then I'll be able to just go on. I've already written issue 2 already. I will be retiring certain covers. We're in late pledge right now, so you can still jump on it. You just go to fairytalesofterror.com and it'll take you right to the little store. Plus, if you're interested in filmmaking, I am running a 2-day master class where I talk about writing and structure and anything you need to do a short or a full feature. Scheduling, budgeting, getting your project ready for investors, how to maybe do crowdfunding. I'm going to be doing that as well. Distribution, all that stuff. I touch on everything. So you'll learn quite a bit, and it's very, very inexpensive right now. So I'm going to put the Eventbrite logo link in the description as well. All right, let's jump back into the movie. So it's very hard for me to really rate this because I thought that the acting was generally good. The problem is that the material that they were given is not great. I was trying to figure out what the budget was. If I was going to guess, I think that Netflix budgets are overblown and bloated, mostly because the executives are getting money and all this other stuff, because as you can see, the writers and the director really don't have major credits behind them. They probably were just friends with certain people. Keira Knightley signed on, and Netflix said, sure. That's probably what happened. It's based on a famous book. Okay. It's a murder mystery. Okay. And they probably did that. But if I'm going to guess, I would say like 50 million because it's overbloated. The research I did said that the yacht that they were on, most of the actual shooting was done on that yacht. I was pretty surprised because I was maybe looking to see if they had built anything, and I'm sure they built whatever. I'm sure that they shot it too in the UK, probably around London, and I don't know where the boat actually went to. If they just took it off the Thames, I don't know where they went with the boat, but I'm sure it was basically just off the coast, and they probably didn't even go that far. But the boat itself is worth $150 million. What? What? Imagine having that kind of money to be able to just buy a boat that is worth what? 3 to 4 mansions? That's insane. That's insane. But anyway, there was probably enough rooms on that thing to have the entire crew stay there. Imagine having and then having like a dining room for everybody. They probably had a smaller crew, is what I would think, which is why was this so expensive? Because everything, nothing really happens off the boat. They have her office, which is where Gugu Mbatha Raw is in, that one scene, and then they tag at the end. I'm not going to do any spoilers here for, if you guys watch it, I don't want you to know who the killer is or anything to that effect. But basically that's what this is. It's just a murder mystery. It's a very, very generic murder mystery that takes place on a boat. Simple as that. And instead of her being a detective, she is an investigative journalist. And she witnesses someone go overboard, but everyone on the ship is accounted for, so who went overboard? And she had seen somebody in cabin 10, but cabin 10 was empty. There's nobody staying there. Hence the mystery. Who is this person? Who did she see? Was she hallucinating? Blah, blah, blah. Of course, they make her believe that she's hallucinating. All that stuff. And again, like Kaya Scaladerio, most of these people, if they weren't in the film, you wouldn't even have noticed. Because the only reason they're there is red herrings. But you learn very, very, very little about any of these people. Because it's not about them. It's about, are they the killer? So you learn a little bit of snippet here, a little bit of snippet there, only to say, maybe it's her. And then David Ajala was her ex-lover. And he just happens to go there, so there's like a tension and all this stuff. But that's it. There's literally nothing else. And then you have her head of security. I thought she was pretty good. But again, tiny, tiny role. Tiny, tiny role. But I can't imagine this film being any more than $50 million. If they spent any more than $50 million on this film, something wrong. Because again, 80% of it takes place on the boat. Maybe 10% takes place in the office. And another 10% takes place for the ending scene. That's it. That's the whole thing. And a little shuttle boat that goes over to them, to the yacht in the beginning. That's it. So the problem is it's so generic. And, you know, again, I don't want to give anything away, but I already knew the situation. There was like one scene where the main woman has a meeting with her, and that meeting told me right off the bat, well, I didn't know, I'm not going to say, but that meeting is like, you already know. Once that meeting happens, you're like, I already understand. I already understand. So it's like, it was not a shock. I'll put it that way. It's not a shock about what the ending ends up being. I'll just put it that way. So it was, when you have a murder mystery that's predictable, like the last Poirot movie or whatever, you know, that wasn't very good either. And that's why everybody puts down the Murder on the Orient Express. I didn't like either. The one that takes place in Egypt on the boat with Gal Gadot. I thought that was the best of this trilogy. I don't know why they kept making them, because they didn't make any money. Anyway, that's it for me. I'm gonna give this, at a scale from 1 to 10. It's a 5, man. It's a 5. It's extremely average with a good cast. You know, how does Jeremy Johns put it? You know, no alcohol required. Forgotten in 2 days. That's how this is. You'll forget it in one day. There's absolutely, besides the actual look of the yacht and the location itself, I mean, even the resolution at the end is just like, really? This is how we're resolving this? It's just very, very plain Jane and roll your eyes type of... And I blame that on the writing. These people had absolutely nothing to work with. You had this great cast that had absolutely nothing to work with. All right, well, anyway, that's it for... watch it if it's in the background. Watch it if you have nothing else to do. But you don't need... It's nothing that's going to be earth-shattering for you. All right? Well, that's it for me. I'm going to go see... I saw, which I'm going to put up later, is Regretting You. So if you'd like to check out my review on that. And I'm going to be going to see Blue Moon as well. And I'm looking forward to that one, even though I know it's like more like a play on, like a physical theatrical play, but on film, where it takes place in like one location. Anyway, remember to give me a like, give me a thumbs up if you can. If you can't subscribe to, please do. Ring that bell, ding, ding. And share this video out there. And on top of that, remember too that you can check out my stuff on Amazon. Definitely jump into Fairy Tales of Terror at fairytalesofterror.com and jump on a couple of those covers that I'm going to be retiring. And yeah, if you'd like to learn some more about filmmaking, love to have you on the 1st and the 2nd of November. You will be open for questions. It'll be more of a discussion-based class. It won't just be me talking. And you can definitely jump onto the Eventbrite in the link description below as well. All right, I'll see you guys on the next one. You guys have an awesome week. All right, bye-bye.